Hello, everybody. Good morning, good afternoon, and good evening, depending on where you are in this amazing world. My name is Donovan Jolly, and welcome everybody once again for another amazing video of DIY investing. There are still a lot of people in denial about everything that's going on inside of the market. The last couple videos have been me trying to explain to you guys that this is merely a bullish retest before we have a massive increase in valuation. For today's video, we're going to be diving into some Bitcoin and Ethereum analysis. I wanted to go over a couple key factors, and I wanted to share with you guys an analytical chart that actually pinpoints exactly what I'm expecting to have happen inside of Ethereum. And then we're also going to be finishing it up by taking a look at some of my favorite low cap coins. These are low caps that are going to provide a ton of profit potential and are looking like very, very undervalued setups. So make sure you guys pay attention to these picks. If you're new and just finding this channel, always remember to do me a favor by leaving a like, comment, and subscribing to this channel for more updates. Make sure that you guys click that notification bell so you don't miss out on any new videos like the one provided for you here. And always remember, guys, I have the fastest growing and the very best Discord community out there for crypto. Over 16,000 members. On average, there's about 1,200 members online. So if you guys want to join, get access to my amazing community where you can talk, share charts, as well as just talk about crypto in general, make sure that you guys click inside of the description of this video, and there you're going to find the invitation link to my Discord server. Now on the Discord server, I also offer my more exclusive content like the video course and signals. So if this is interesting, you guys, make sure that you stay all the way to the end of this video, because then I'm going to be taking a couple minutes to explain how you guys can get signed up, the pros of doing so, and what it's going to take to get you guys going today. Alrighty guys, we got a lot of really exciting stuff to talk about for today's video. I know it's going to bring you guys a ton of value, so without further ado, let's jump right into it today. So first things first, we're going to dive straight into some Bitcoin analysis. I wanted to go over a couple things that I personally see playing out because I think it's really important that we do so. Now, as you guys can see, Bitcoin to me just looks like we're getting this rounded accumulation, and I think it's much more likely that we're going to end up actually breaking up a little bit higher and at least come up to retest, about close to 11K. Right here at about 11K, I think we're going to at least get a dead cat bounce up to there. And, from there, maybe we sell off for one more low to fill that CME gap. But overall, I don't really think that we have to. I personally don't follow the CME gaps religiously like a lot of other people do. And I think that it can be a perfect little shakeout opportunity, considering the fact I already accumulated Ethereum at 340, I accumulated Tezos at 250. And with Bitcoin showing all of these wicks, it to me just does not look like it's done. I don't think that this thing wants to just go lower. I think it's more likely that we're going to end up bouncing up a little bit higher. With Chainlink showing a lot of strength right now and looking like it wants to reverse, I just think it's more likely that that's going to be the case. The altcoins are going to be leading and outperforming Bitcoin, and they're going to show the way. And when I look at this, I just see a couple different things. This to me just looks like one of those A, B, C corrections. Like I was talking to you guys with Chainlink yesterday, how oftentimes the market creates these ABC corrections after a 5-wave impulse based off of Elliott wave theory. And that's honestly what we saw. 1, 3, 5, and then we get the ABC back down. It just makes sense that this thing is going to keep going up. I mean, I personally am not one of those people that are leaning to this massive bearish bias. It just doesn't really make sense to me. We have a lot more value coming in at this level. We've had this resistance for such a long time, and that's the thing people don't really understand. This has just been such a strong resistance for a long period of time now. Obviously you can draw this line up a little bit higher, and we are technically below this, but nonetheless, guys, I still strongly believe that this is an area that's going to have a lot of value, and we're going to continue to go up into this correction, and we're going to continue to go up into this impulse. And so that's the thing to point out. That's the thing to understand with Bitcoin. Nothing's really changed there. Now, I wanted to actually talk to you guys about Ethereum, because this, in my opinion, is where things get interesting, and we're at a very important point in this cycle. Now, obviously, I'm going to lean bullish, but we have to remember that there's always the potential for a little bit more downside. And so I'm going to go through and actually label that here. So first things first, this is the resistance that we're facing. This has been a pretty strong resistance. It was resistance here. It was resistance here, here. You could even count it right there. It was resistance here at the cycle high into June of last year. And it was also acting as some short-term support just recently with this consolidation here. Well, we've sold through that, and we are now getting a little bit rejected here. But keep in mind, guys, we're still so early that this thing could very easily just close back above. And so that's the most important thing to understand here. I wanted to talk about this level because there's a couple things that I'm going to watch out for. Now, obviously, I bought Ethereum at 340, so I do have some profit as far as that goes, but I have more buy orders set all the way down here at about 290 because I do strongly believe that we could actually fall for one more low. And does that mean my plan fails? Does that mean that everything's bearish? No, of course not. This is merely just us retesting some of these previous cycle highs. This was a resistance. This was the resistance before the COVID crash. And we haven't really even retested any of these. You know, this one was a retest, but the fact that we sold back down, you know, we fully retested this level as far as candle bodies. So it is very likely that we could just see an impulse and then we could just keep going up. Or if we do show a little bit more exhaustion right here, this could be a rejection before we fall to one more low, which that low would take us to about 290. And that's where I'm going to do absolutely everything I possibly can to accumulate more Ethereum. I would absolutely love for this to happen. I'm looking at this as my ultimate go-to. If we can get one more sell-off, I'm going to be so thankful because unfortunately for me, I maxed out my daily limits and I wasn't able to accumulate as much as I wanted to at this 340 level. But if we managed to close back down sub $300, oh my gosh, that is such a steal, and I'm going to be looking at it exactly as that. I just think that this chart setup just looks too good. We had too much bullish momentum coming, and this is the first sell-off that we've even seen, guys. That's the thing that people are failing to realize. Since COVID, you know, we had what, 400% impulse, depending on where you're getting your analytics. This was Coinbase, and so we had a 440% impulse from the lows all the way up to the high. And this is literally the first sell-off that we've even seen. I would not consider any of this stuff a sell-off. This is just a short-term correction, short-term correction. This is our first legitimate pullback that we've seen. And it was a pretty strong one at that. You know, from the high to the low, you're looking at about 36%. Generally speaking, whenever you find a corrective move, it usually goes anywhere from about 30 to a 40%. On the high end, you get a 50% correction. Obviously, altcoins can vary, but the more high cap coins, the more consistent ones, the ones with the most money in them, generally speaking, it's around 30 to a 40% correction. And this is what we've already seen with Ethereum. And so honestly, guys, if we zoom into this chart, for us to go for one more low, this is literally such an insignificant move. It's literally $20. In my opinion, we've already pretty much finished that sell-off, that it's not so likely that we're going to have to go for one more low all the way back down here. I'm going to be looking at much more of a buying opportunity, which I did. I bought Ethereum down here at 340, posted signals for the Discord so that we could all get filled. And so I'm just watching to see what's going to happen with this resistance here. I mean, we're still so early that even if we close a little bit below this, it's fine. I'm not going to stress about it. Now I want to go into an analytical chart of Ethereum that's going to perfectly explain kind of what I think is happening right now and why I believe that there's going to be a lot of new influx of money heading into Ethereum and starting a new phase of accumulation. So first things first, this was actually created by Glassnode, so shout out to him. This was a really cool chart that I found, and I wanted to dive into it a little bit deeper. Now basically, we have the price of Ethereum in USD, and then this blue line here is the number of addresses with a balance of 1,000 plus Ethereum. And we can see that this black line was the price, and this black line has gone up. Obviously, we've continued to break higher as Ethereum's continued to impulse since COVID, but the blue line shows that the amount of addresses that are actually holding over 1,000 Ethereum has gone to new lows. And I've seen this, and I saw a couple people share this on Twitter explaining why this is bearish, and I'm here to share with you guys why I do not believe that that is actually the case. And in fact, we are about to see a brand new influx of new addresses holding at least 1,000 Ethereum coming in very soon. And that's where we get to this chart right here. The nth number of addresses holding 1,000 plus coins. And we can see this little chart pattern playing out right here. Now we can see it's very obvious to tell that we're going to new lows. We've broken past support and many people are bearish. But I'm here to explain to you guys that this pattern, I don't know if you remember, but this is just sparking so much intrigue into my own head because of the fact this was a pattern that literally every single altcoin for the most part, the majority of altcoins made this exact same pattern before we started pumping. You know, this was prior to COVID. COVID had the crash. Coins went to new lows. And this is where we actually got the Wyckoff spring. And I'm going to show you guys a little analytic right now. So this is actually the example of a Wyckoff spring. And this is something that I wanted to share with you guys because this is actually what a lot of altcoins ended up making inside of their accumulation. And I'll share it with you guys here soon. Basically, we have phase A, right? This is where we come down, make a support, rally up to retest a resistance. We fell, We fall back down to retest that support. We rally back up to get rejected into distribution again, and then we sell off for one more final low. And after this final low is where we get the spring-loaded bounce where prices actually start to break out. I personally believe that we are right here. We are in phase C, where we actually get that spring and we're going to start breaking up. And if we actually compare that to the Ethereum addresses chart, we're going to see this right here. Phase 1, rally up, come back down to retest it, phase 2, and then we go to new lows. This is just a classic example of a Wyckoff accumulation. And I'm going to share with you guys a couple altcoins that actually made this exact pattern so you can start to understand what it looks like. So one of my favorite examples, and whether you actually call this a Wyckoff or not, it really doesn't matter, but this is the same pattern that's actually playing out on the Ethereum chart. Same thing here. We get the low, we kind of chop around here, and then we sell off for one more final sell-off, right? And what's cool about this sell-off is just how correlated it is with that Ethereum chart. I'm just going to go through and manage the Elliott waves for you guys. The way I look at this is just this was the 1, this was the 3, and this was the 5, right? And then what happened was we got that strong buyback that came in. And obviously Zilliqa is kind of selling off, but nonetheless, this is the same type of chart pattern that we are seeing in the Ethereum chart today. Right here, we sell off, and then we start the 5 impulse waves. 1, 3, and we're working on that final 5 of the 5. This is where we're about to see that big increase in value where we come right here, the big buyback. And this is the thing, guys. I see a lot of people trying to share why Ethereum is bearish. I see a lot of people talking about how this is a bad thing, but you got to understand that as long as price is going down, everybody's going to be bearish, and everybody's going to think it's a terrible thing. But this is a chart pattern that was played out by so many altcoins, and if you would have just been able to see this chart pattern, you would have made a lot of money. In my opinion, we're seeing divergence, actually. This is divergence. Price is starting to break out in Ethereum while the amount of addresses holding 1,000 plus is declining. This is the final type of divergence before we're going to see a big increase in these whales and these accounts holding 1,000 plus coins. And that is exactly what is going to happen. And so we need to be prepared for that. We need to understand that this is not actually that bad. The fact that Ethereum is retesting previous resistance levels that are now acting as support, these are so many good positive things, and this thing is really going to start taking off. And you don't want to be the guy that's shaken out, too fearful to buy, because this is such a good opportunity to have. We're under $400. We have the potential of hitting sub $300, which I'm going to do everything I can to buy as much ETH. I would look at that as such an amazing opportunity because it really is. And so that's what I wanted to share with you guys right now. Now let's actually dive into some low caps, some updates on low caps that I've already talked about, because these things are going to take off and I want you guys to make a ton of money off of these. So let's jump right into it. So first up on the list today is going to be Pylon. Pylon is another one of those finance coins. The reason why I like Pylon is actually because I had a couple insiders tell me that this one was a really solid one to invest in. And so I've been buying this one and I've been accumulating quite a bit of them. Now there's only 14,700 of these. You can basically look at this as probably similar to one of those finance coins. I honestly don't know what it is. I looked at the website and it kind of confused me. I think it has something to do with a game. I don't know if you guys have heard of Based Money, but that's like a little game that is here in this little DeFi space, and they partnered with Pylon, and so I'm assuming that it has something to do with a game, but the reason why I like this is because there's only 14,700 of them, and so this is a really big thing because price appreciation is going to come really easily. That's why we see it already worth $704. I believe that this thing is going to take off, and I actually really like this current setup that we see. We've had this descending resistance, and we've broken from all descending resistances. Whatever you want to call this, kind of looks like a falling wedge type formation. Super volatile, so understand that when actually investing into these. But this is kind of like this falling wedge. We break out, retest support, accumulate, and now we see this volume coming in and price starting to expand. This, in my opinion, is just the start before we get another bigger impulse. And to be quite honest, guys, the fact that there's already such a small amount of the supply, it doesn't take very much money to really balloon the value of this asset. And with us being less than $1,000, I think anything under $1,000 is a really good steal. Because obviously we saw YFI go from $32 all the way upwards of $36K. And I don't think that that thing is going to slow down anytime soon. And in fact, there's about double the supply as there is with Pylon. And so I think this thing is really going to take off. I hear a lot of people talking about it. A lot of people that I personally trust for low cap advice. They have been buying this and they've been really hyped about that. And so for that, I'm going to go out on a limb I'm going to trust their analysis because these guys know more about fundamentals than I do, and I genuinely like the chart pattern that I'm seeing. The amount of new volume that's came in here, it just looks phenomenal. I bought a decent amount all throughout here. I was bag holding on some losses because I did start accumulating up here at about $1,200. So I had to bag hold pretty substantial losses, but that's just the way this game works, guys. You got to be willing to just buy and accumulate, because I was down 78%. So it's really scary when you're down 80%, but I know a lot of people that actually bought up here with me that ended up panic selling the bottom, and now they're going to be really pissed at themselves because you just don't want to do that. It's just pointless, guys. Sometimes you have to hold on to a loss, because what these things turn into is always the long-term picture. That's why I focus on the long term. You know, I've accumulated XRP for so long as it just went lower and lower and lower, but you know, because of my accumulation, because my consistency, I'm in profit now, and it barely has even gone up. And this is the way you should invest into these coins. You know, don't worry so much about the short-term loss. It's the long-term future that we're looking for here. Now, next up on the list is going to be the great Esprit. Now, remember, guys, Esprit is actually migrated over to Brie. Esprit means synthetic Brie. It wasn't even the real finished product. Now we have the mainnet released, and so if you guys are holding Esprit, you guys have to send them over to your MetaMask, and you're going to have to actually swap those over because you don't want to miss out on this. You guys can also start staking Esprit. It's a 30-day locking period. Highly recommend you guys get into this stuff, and we're basically right at support. You know, pretty much where I started accumulating this sucker for the most part. The majority of where I accumulated it was here at this line. And I think that we have a real chance of selling off one more time to retest that. Or at the very least, you guys are still picking up some at $15.50, which I believe is a steal at this value. Really early cycle. This is just the first little impulse that we've had. In my opinion, this thing is going to very easily surpass $100. And it makes much more logical sense that we're going to be well above 500. You know, this is just such an early cycle. There's so much volume coming in here. The product of exactly what Brie is and what CoinBreeder sets out to accomplish, in my opinion, is just a guarantee that this thing is going to do super good. You know, I really like the idea. A sandbox to test DAO governance systems. It's interoperable amongst any blockchain. Anybody can use it. All of these things just make this a really good value proposition, and I do believe we're going to see a lot of price appreciation for that. So make sure you guys swap these. If you're holding Esprit, you're going to have to send those to MetaMask, swap them over so that you guys can actually get the new updated version so that you're not left bag holding worthless coins. Do not make that mistake. I made that mistake with Pasta. Unfortunately, it happens, and then it pulled a 5x, and so that's just the way this stuff works sometimes, guys. You got to be smart, you got to be ahead of the curve, and you got to be in on this stuff quick. With us being at support, super good buy opportunity, pretty much back down to where I started accumulating it, so watch out for Esprit. So watch out for Brie. Next up on the list is going to be HAKA Finance. Remember, guys, these finance coins, I got rug pulled on a couple of them. I lost all my money that I invested into them, which is honestly what you're going to have to just experience with these low caps. Some of them are scams. Some of them aren't. But you got to remember, you can make a lot of money, but there is a lot more risk with these. I just like the setup I see here, guys. Big early market cycle. Super obvious to tell for me. What this kind of looks like as far as Elliott waves go is this was wave 1, this was wave 3, and then this was wave 5. And all we've done from there is got our corrective move back down. A, B, C. Right? To me, this looks like a simple Adam and Eve bottom formation. To me, this is just a simple Adam and Eve bottom formation, and we're most likely going to break out. I see the volume coming in here. Volumes came in at both of these support levels. I really like this setup. That's exactly what you want to see. Just an early cycle. We corrected back down onto support. We're basically on support of the previous all-time high, which is pretty customary of an early cycle. So I just think we should watch out for this one. One of the reasons why I like this thing so much is because just to the cycle highs, 450%. It could be a scam. You guys could lose all of your money. But for me, 450% just back to the cycle high that it was at, you know, September the 1st, a week ago. I mean, come on, guys. That's why I like these low caps. I can make so much money off of these. I don't have to risk much. You know, throw 1,000, throw 2,000, throw 1,000, throw a couple thousand, or, you know, throw a couple $100, whatever the hell you want to do for your trading plan. But I usually just risk a small amount, throw 1,000 here, throw 2,000 there, make some money, because these things are the ones that pull the 10x instantly. You know, I made a ton of money off YFB, made a ton of money off YFL, made a ton of money off of Esprit even, and these low caps, when they move quick, and they move a quick and high percent gain, so just don't miss out on these. HAKA is one. Do your own research, obviously, but I really do like this setup that we're seeing. Alrighty, guys, next up is one I've actually talked about a lot, and this is YFV. You know, this one is actually this one is actually retracing back onto support. I really like this setup. I just think it's super solid as far as everything that we're seeing here. It looks kind of like a repeat of the last cycle. You know, like this entire move here looks a lot like this entire move here, and it's just exponentially increasing in value. So in my opinion, we're going to see another bull run, something like that. Then we might sell off. Who knows exactly what it's going to look like, but this is one that I'm going to continue to hold. You know, I bought pretty much the very bottom of this wick down here. I have no inclination of selling. I'm going to see what this turns into. It's got tons of good volume, which is a consistent approach as far as my trading plan goes. I just think that this thing is solid. And one of the things I notice is this huge wick right here. It's like 25x or more from where we're at today. When I see stuff like that, it makes me excited. Obviously, it's just slippage a lot of the time from some idiot just buying at the wrong price. But nonetheless, oftentimes these low caps will actually hit the tops of these wicks, and it kind of shows the direction that the market's going. I like the setup. I'm going to continue to hold and see what happens. Now, last up on the list today is going to be UNC. This one's a lot like HAKA. It's just an early cycle. You know, we got the 1 wave, we got the 3, and then we got the 5, A, B, C back down. And we've pretty much just been consolidating at support for a significant period of time now. And when I see this, I just look and see just more potential for upside. Yes, it's possible that we could sell off, make one more low, but I wouldn't expect that that low would maintain itself. I would expect it to be a short pullback, and then it would actually get bought up really quickly. And so this is just one to watch out for. This is one that I expect to perform well. I accumulated pretty much the bottom of this wick. I saw this as an early setup, similar to YFE, similar to HAKA, similar to some of these other ones that I've made money off of. And so I just wanted to share this one with you guys. This is the last one up on the list today. Wanted to make sure that we're all in the knowing today, and it's really just what's going on with my trading plan. I really love these ones because they are just such big returns back to their cycle highs. This one's a 5x just from where we're at today back to the high that it made, you know, the 4th of August. This is a 500% return, and when it happens, it's going to happen quick. If you're not ready, you're going to miss out, and you don't want to be the guy that misses out on a 5x return that was just made a month ago, right? So with all that being said, guys, for the people that have waited this long, that want to sign up for the video course and signals, I'll explain a little bit about that. My 20 educational videos are what comes with the video course. You guys are going to learn all of my details for trading, investing, market cycles, support and resistance, trading plans, all of the above. I'm going to teach them to you guys inside of this 20-part video series. Highly recommend that you guys check that out if you want to actually learn how to trade these markets with consistency, do it at your own pace, and all of those things required. Now, for the people that would rather just get the signals, you guys can purchase these together or separate. Remember, the signals are actually going to be doubling in price, and so if you guys want access to that, right now you can get it for $1,000 or a 50% discount before I raise it to $2,000 once my website is completely finished. Just adding the finishing touches, almost completely done with everything, just some small minor things like switching over banking information. So make sure you guys get access to that. You know, you guys can purchase them on my website. You guys can click in the description of this video, and there you're going to find the link to not only my Discord, but also the link to buy through credit or debit card. If you guys would like to pay in crypto, join the Discord. Once again, it's free. Once you guys have access, you can shoot me a message or any of the 6 moderators a message, and I'll make sure to get you guys an address, and I'll make sure that you guys can get in through there so that we can all be on the same page of profiting. If you guys can only pick one, make sure to go with those signals. You can copy my trading plan. You can make some money, and if you want to go back to the course, you can at least use the profit to buy that later down the line. Anyways, guys, thank you all so much for the support. I appreciate each and every single one of you so much, and I look forward to seeing what this turns into down the line. With all that being said, I will see you guys in the next one. As always, peace out.